The way we proceed is we'll start with some readings, kind of set the tone. Then we'll have 20, 25 minutes of meditation. B, if, and also Carl and D. This is a way the meditations we'll be doing are advanced meditations. I'm just going to say that up front. Generally, we will sit in silence for 20 minutes and reflect on the teachings, but we're doing guided meditations to kind of help get into some deeper understandings of the teachings and go back to the fundamental, the bedrock, which is mindfulness and simple presence to whatever's going on. But today we'll be focusing on bodily sensations, on emotions, on a lot of other things beside that. And that's not always comfortable. People associate meditation and they think that it's going to be a really pleasant experience. And any serious spiritual teacher will tell you that that's a total misunderstanding of what we're doing. Chogyam Trungpa called it spiritual materialism, that we just kind of bypass all the stuff that's going on or that's going on in their life. It was John Wellwood who called it spiritual bypassing. So if you're genuinely going to heal, part of the journey we've gone on is that when we first are born, all the energy that comes into us through our senses and through the world, through our breath, moves through us freely. It doesn't get stuck. And that's what enlightenment is. Enlightenment is being a simple vessel for the energy that's around us to move through. As Rumi says, God is the breath and I'm the flute. I love that image. That and by God, again, he's using, think about the breath as energy and God as energy moving through me. That's all I do. But the more we get wounded, and here's what we're dealing with today, the wounds in life that we can't handle the intensity of the energy, we constrict. Those patterns of constriction get stored in the body. And today we're going to talk about that mechanism. How does it get stored in the body? So when we sit down on the cushion, all that pressure, the resistance of that stored energy to the energy of the moment is going to present itself. That energy is going to want to release. And when it does release, it's not particularly pleasant. So I found a reading from Hafiz called Effacement. Effacement is a golden gun. It was not easy to hold it against my head and fire. Now again, what's he talking about? The ego, okay? Getting rid of the ego, which the ego thinks is we're committing suicide. It's not easy. What's the golden gun? The golden gun is our steadfastness, our willingness to sit through and live through all these assaults on the control the ego wants to have over energy. So I'm sitting through this. It feels like a death to ego. So what spirit loves, ego hates. Spirit loves liberation from constraint. Ego absolutely terrified of losing control. So here we go. Golden gun. I needed great faith in my master to suffocate myself with this holy bag full of truth. I needed great courage to go out in the dark, tracking God into the unknown, and not panic or get lost in all the startling new scents and sounds and sights, or lose my temper, tripping on those scheming night and day around me. Effacement is the emerald dagger you need to plunge deeper into yourself upon this path to the divine recovery, upon this path to God. Effacement is the emerald dagger you need to plunge deep into yourself upon this path to divine recovery, this path to God. So, what does this mean? Not too cheery. Great way to start your morning. Hey! So, that's why we need to be a little bit playful about this whole thing and take it in very, very small doses. So, what does this mean about things getting stored in the body? This leads to another important question. Simply put, all that somatic awareness, all that experience is walled off from our consciousness. It abides in a no man's land in our tissues, our muscles, our ligaments, our tendons, our blood and bone. The literally organic journey of our somatic experience in making towards consciousness is aborted and gets jammed back into itself. And there it stays in a kind of unhealthy stagnation, where in some instances it may be unblocked by a body worker years later, or even decades later released as the recall of a traumatic memory. But as with all our traumas, so with virtually every moment of our lives. The full range of our experience is not admitted into our awareness, but is pushed back and walled off where it abides, hidden in the body. This rejection of the fullness of our experience is what Buddhism means by the creation of karma. The residue of experience that has not been lived through, in Buddhist terms, is the karma of result, wherein previously created karma results in limitations on our present awareness. Okay, so let me stop right there and did I get my phone in here? Give you what this means in contemporary awareness. So this is a woman on Instagram called My Vital Side, and it's entitled How Trauma Gets Stored in the Body. So I'm going to play it for you. Okay, hang on.
And the nervous system, not the mind. That said, it can show up in your mind as a result of the mind-body connection. Here's how. We receive information from our external environment and internal environment and deem it safe or threatening. When our brains perceive a situation as threatening, likely because they were similar to something that was threatening in the past, our brains send that message of threat to our bodies, and our bodies respond in anxiety, vigilance, and inflammation. This threat response sent to our body triggers hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to be released that signal stress and threat. These hormones tell the mind to experience thoughts of rumination, prediction, and hyper-focusing on a traumatic event. Trauma is processed in the body and the nervous system, not the mind. That said, it can show up in your mind as a result of the mind-body connection. Here's how. We receive information from our...
Okay, so there we've learned the mechanism of how this happens. So this experience that comes in, particularly painful experiences, gets stored in a different part of the brain. You have the hippocampus, which stores everyday memory, the amygdala, which stores traumatic memory. Hippocampal memory is gone. Okay, what did you have for lunch 3 weeks ago on Thursday? You're not going to remember. But when it comes to a traumatic event, those events are stored with tremendous detail and they don't erase. And when they get triggered, what it means is that your brain is a pattern recognition tool. So it sees a pattern that looks like a previous threat, and it immediately sends a signal to your adrenal glands to release the cortisol and adrenaline, the other stress hormones, which immediately puts you into a state of fight or flight. So for those of you who've been with me and know the vagal nerve stuff, you'll be totally blissful, have a cue that you may not even recognize. because this is such it could be a smell, it could be a sound, it could be a view. You know, it's like someone said you could spill something on your shirt and all of a sudden go back to feeling like a pathetic, helpless child who's always, oh God, I always fuck up, I'm such a loser, blah, 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 from a state where I was totally in my adult. This is when that happens. It takes a half second to go from feeling totally secure in the world to feeling totally lost in the world. Now, hear what she said in there, because this is what I keep trying to tell you. Your body thinks thoughts that you don't think. You listen to this voice in your head, and it's telling you that the world is scary, or this person is unsafe, or the world should be this way or that way. Those aren't your thoughts. There is no intention behind it. And today, when he's talking about this dagger is the dagger of intention. If I put my intention behind ego to try and find safety in the world, I'm listening to traumatized voices in my body. The messages that are generated by the monkey mind, okay, this is that network in our brain that tries to keep us safe, only has negative information. So everything it's telling us is based on only the negative things that have happened in our life. It does not have positive experiences. It doesn't have neutral experiences, because all that get washed away in the hippocampus. We're in the amygdala, where we can't think anything but negative thoughts. Does that make any sense to you? So we're
once you get triggered.
But we're almost always triggered. What we don't realize is that most of us, until we're about to head to a retreat, it will take us 2 days to get out of our traumatized brains and into a ventral state. Most of the day you're in fight or flight or in dorsal and feeling depressed and like things are hopeless. So in other words, if you're not in that state where you're feeling confident, the world is expansive, you're feeling hopeful, everything is open and made, you're in the traumatized part of your brain. And most people never wake up. It's kind of like the beginning of Matrix. We're living in a world, we think we're happy, we think everything's going good. Then we break through and we end up in this world of traumatic energy that's stored in our body that has been below the level of our consciousness. And that's what I want to go back to in this reading. So as we sit, imagine sitting, or I used to do reparenting therapy where you hold people. So when you get a safe environment around you, and you feel those arms of safety and you begin to shift ventral, guess what happens? The sewer starts backing up, okay? So imagine taking the lid off a pressurized system. Now all the stuff that's stored starts releasing.
You cry.
You cry,
whatever, yeah.
okay? You get angry at every little thing. You're scared. When it started with me, I went from being cold-blooded on the streets to being scared to go to the grocery store, to being unable to operate my car. Two totally different people. But the beginning for me, I didn't really have a framework to handle the experience that happened to me. So, but that's the system we're doing. So again, the emotions are never going to be more intense than they are at the very beginning, because it is a pressurized system. But the longer we stay open, the more we simply allow these energies to release, which is why spiritual healing is so different from therapy. You don't have to understand what's being processed. You don't have to confront your abuser. You don't have to understand the implications. None of that stuff we've been taught. This is shit. You don't look through your shit to say breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It doesn't matter. You just take a dump. We're here to dump all those stored energies that are clogging. You know, we're just looking at senescent cells, the cells in your body that don't function and clog you down. This is the senescent energy living in your body, being generated by your body, that blocks your vitality, all right? So let's go back to this reading. He says, Uh, he says the residue of experience that has not been lived through results in limitations on our present awareness. In other words, the experience that is pushed back, walled off into the body, is not in the least inactive. It continues to function as that which our conscious standpoint, in order to maintain itself, must continually strive to ignore. Part of the reason you don't have energy is you're trying to stifle this energy, to hold it out of your awareness. This is what denial is in traditional therapy. And we just call it resistance or ignorance. I'm resisting this energy and beliefs. I'm ignoring it. All of your moves, whether seemingly free and consistent with the wants and desires of your party objectives, are actually largely defined by trying to prevent any encounter with the unwanted guests, your unlived life. It is that part of our human existence, and often a very large part, that we do not feel, but that we have allowed to go, It's that part of our human existence, and often a very large part, that we do not feel, but that we have allowed to go no further. Many of us feel that life is passing us by, that we are missing what our life could be, and we don't know why we feel that way or what to do about it. When viewed from the point of view of the body, however, this unlived life is precisely the life that is already ours, but that we are avoiding out of our desire to maintain our ego status quo. Of course we long for this life, that life we knew as children, where life energy just moved through us. We were free. We knew we were worthy. We were joyful. We woke up and looked forward with excitement to our day until our mom goes, no, you can't go outside. Well, there we go. There we go. Meditating with the body provides us with a way to reconnect with our unlived life, and gradually over time to learn how to live in a more complete and satisfying way. So that's the journey we're on. It's not, it really is a journey of the body, the journey of repressed energy, the journey of energy reconnecting with the energy of life and letting go of the constrictions against us. That, as Trungpa used to say, you can't take a single step without reference to your own safety. That's how pervasive this is. We've already got our butts clenched, our shoulders hunched, our jaws tight, our bellies tight, our chest protected when we wake up in the morning. That's why we start out with a little cat-cow, loosen up the hips, because that tightness is stored. Does this make any sense? Okay, so I don't care whether it makes sense. Let's go ahead and meditate and see if we can get some experience and settle into it. So start by assuming I'm going to let the head monk bang a gong, get it on, bang. Having fun? So begin by establishing and anchoring your awareness and your breath. Letting go of all effort to understand, to make anything happen. Nothing to create, nothing to avoid, sitting in safety in your sanctuary. And taking refuge in the breath. Awareness, meeting the sensations directly. Seeing the biting cool of the in-breath, soothing warmth of the out-breath. Just settling into the flow of sensations and allowing that flow to draw your awareness up into the sinuses. Feeling the sensations that are always there, again, below the level of awareness. And let that draw your awareness to the sensations at sixth chakra. Tuning into any constrictions around the brow. Taking the breath in, allowing the breath to stretch and expand the space. And with the exhale, just release any energy that's been stored in that tension, that constriction. Allow your awareness to move to the crown chakra, the thousand-petaled lotus, your connection with the yang energy, the sky energy. Opening up the top. Letting go of any constrictions, again, breathing into them, no effort exerted, simply drawing awareness and allowing the breath to create space and to release, like breathing into a fist and then allowing it to relax. Turning awareness back to the breath, follow it down into the throat. Noting any constrictions. Softening, releasing. Keeping awareness of the flow of sensations from the nostrils down to the throat. And allowing them to flow even further into the heart area, the brachial tubes. Feeling the breath in the chest. Softening the ribs, the backside, the side body. Loosening the breath as we move down the third chakra just below the breastbone. Feeling any tension in the gut. One of the early meditations is soft belly meditation. Soften the belly constriction. Allowing the breath to expand, inflate the balloon of the belly, gently stretch it. Plenty of space for the breath. Follow your awareness down to just above the pubic bone where the abdominals attach. Becoming aware of any tension and constrictions there. Allowing the breath to soften. And perhaps you'll be able to feel the sensations at the perineum, floor of the pelvis. Softening any constrictions, opening the valve at the other end. Head open, heart open, root chakra open. Feeling the earth drawing you towards her, feeling the pull of gravity. Feel your resistance to totally relaxing into that pull, holding yourself up. We're afraid of intimacy. The earth offers us an embrace continually. Come, rest in me. All you who travail, heavy laden, all you who are struggling and heavy in heart, release those energies into me. And release all your fear of separation and being absorbed, your ego's fear of getting lost, being absorbed. And release those boundaries, those separations which keep you apart, and know you're like a drop going back to the ocean. You're not losing your identity. You're connecting with your true identity as the earth. Feel the yin energies, the energies of stability, those dark, nourishing energies, groundedness. Like a tree, as you send roots down, draw more nutrients up. Repeating the words, I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm nourished. And feel that base, that stability. Drawing it up with the in-breath, with the out-breath, releasing all the energies of resistance as fear. And let your awareness travel back up to second chakra. And as you feel that give and take in first, This is the seed of sadness, of grief, the seed of relationships, of sexuality, mutual exchanges of energy. You can't love without grief. And this is the seat that knows that. As Joni Mitchell said, there's something lost and something gained, and every day there's gratitude and grief work. Drawing up those energies with gratitude, like the moon taking in the sun. And as you exhale, release all the energies, like the moon, giving it all back, keeping nothing for herself. That reciprocal flow of energy in and out, which is love. Which is your connection with life, beginning to feel that connection flowing between you and the earth as you move up into third chakra. This is where the dagger is, purpose. The ability to focus your will, to stay awake, to be fully present to the moment like a mountain, rooted in the earth. I can stand steadfast in the face of all the winds of change. I am worthy just as I am. I am here fully with no explanations, no rationalizations, no excuses, no permission, no shame. Letting any go of any anger. This is the seed of anger, of self-protection. Letting the radiant energies of life surround me in my aura and be my protection without effort. Moving up to heart chakra. Here the words are, I am awake. And I open my heart fully to the world. I need fear no evil, for thou art with me. I feel the earth beneath my feet. I feel your comfort. I know that I'm you and I will never disappear. Simply change. I fear no change. Moving up to your throat, and opening the throat. Letting go of all constrictions. As the poet Rilke said, I want to sing the formless energies of life like no one has. He says to God, I want to sing you like no one has. And open your throat to sing like a bird, not for any reason. Releasing those energies of life as only you can. And we're all gem faceted differently, different colors, different flaws, all reflecting that sacred light. And drawing that energy upwards, still up into sixth chakra. I want to see what's never been seen. Give birth to dreams of what is possible. I open my awareness to the vastness of simple awareness, becoming the sky, softening into spacious awareness, allowing all my experience, thoughts, emotions, body sensation, the external world to float without resistance, without clinging. As I move to the crown chakra, letting all those energies burst forth, releasing them to dance with joy in the universe. As you exhale and as you inhale, draw that energy down. Feeling the spirit of life flowing through you like God's breath into the clay, giving you all the vitality to go along with the stability, giving you the energy, the light, the inspiration, the enthusiasm in Theos, in God, inspiration in spirit. We are co-conspirators. We breathe together today. And feel that vitality flowing through your body like a cleansing stream, removing any obstructions that remain, giving you a baptism in the Spirit, cleansing, vitalizing, refreshing, renewing, restoring, and feel your cells like dry sponges soaking up that vitality. Feeling your enthusiasm for living coming back, joy, your hope, not wishful thinking, but the genuine hopefulness of seeing potential in the next moment without guile or manipulation. But feeling the loose places where you can dance without shame, sing without worrying about who's listening. Hollow reed, the energies coming in from the sky with each in-breath, in from the earth with each in-breath, meeting at the heart. I am awake. I am fully present. I open my heart to the world. With the exhale, release all those energies. Awake from seventh chakra, grounded in first chakra, fully opened at fourth. I am awake. I open my heart to the world. Alrighty. If you'd like to share any questions, comments.
I normally feel different parts of my body release when I sit, especially early in the morning. I do wake up tense, like I was fight all night long, and usually do a lot of stretching. But when I sit, I'll feel like my shoulder, you know,
Yeah.
different parts will relax, and I wouldn't even know that they're. I didn't even know that they were tense because it's so much a part of the baseline of just how uh, it's just not even in the consciousness that my jaw and my eyebrows are frowning, jaw is tight, my shoulder is clenched, you know,
Yeah. That's it.
hips, and then it's like 3 or 4 or 5 layers of things like fall away when I sit. I'm like, oh, this is what this is
Yeah.
what it feels like not to be sitting in tension.
Exactly. So first we have to be aware of it. And one of the first body therapists, psychotherapists, was a guy named Theodore Reich. And he's the one who talked about body armoring, which is the physical imprint of trauma. So those of us with PTSD, severe PTSD, we've all got PTSD at some level. That's current thinking. We don't even relax at night So we're still rigid. So that's the body, even not even feeling safe when you're sleeping, particularly if you got traumatized at night and didn't feel safe in the house where you were sleeping. So that body armoring has us trapped. So Ida Rolf was the body therapist who said, let's go in, break up that body armoring. Well, when she started doing that, all of a sudden everybody, oh, they're remembering traumas from their past. They're going, what the fuck is going on? You know, how can this work? Well, that's now we know the link. You know, we're just recently getting the neuroscience to understand how that impression gets translated into a chronic tension in my body. But when I'm encouraged to release this, it recalls what went on to create this tension. And I now re-experience that trauma. But to release it, I have to be able to sit through it. So the key is that what reinscribes the trauma on the brain is adrenaline. The more adrenaline you're feeling, the more it triggers adrenaline. So it's going to release adrenaline at the level that you last experienced it. So if you can sit here, not get into that, and this is why beta blockers work. And I encourage all my people with PTSD not to get anti-anxiety drugs. Get beta blockers that are going to put a limit on how much adrenaline you trigger. Because if you sit through not reinscribe it, you can begin to step down. So we're stepping down the signal that's going back to the brain, and that gradually erases that memory. This is the mechanism we found. So number one mechanism for dealing with PTSD, drugs are only going to mask the symptoms. They're not going to release it. They're not going to undo it. But there are techniques like sitting where you simply don't panic. I sit, I allow it to happen. That reduce that re-encryption on the brain, what we call it. So the idea, it's difficult for people to understand these mechanisms, and it was for me about things being stored. You know, these are all just images. This is simply a poetic way of describing the workings of your nervous system. And it's all being validated now. The Western psychology is realizing we were wrong. We were wrong what we were doing. We've been dealing with things at the level of symptoms and thoughts and feelings, which only reinforces them. Talking, which reinforces them. That's why I said, look at the power of words. I'm sitting here telling you about the trauma I went through. I'm reinscribing it. I'm not letting it go. It's not a thought. It's an energy that needs to be released. But I'm talking about it to avoid feeling it. But I'm feeling it. Oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah, but let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate this, all the science behind it that has come to light and that you and I so love. But going back to the meditation itself, I can't let go of the comment that it was truly inspired and inspiring.
I felt that.
I think everybody needs to listen to that.
Okay.
At least once. And yeah.
Thank you. And by
I'm
the
sorry
way, that
for
was me.
anyone that wasn't here. I'm sorry for any person that missed that.
So that was because you all have given me the safety, and Laura knows this probably better than anyone, to finally speak authentically in a way I never could at All Souls, and finally sing my song. That was my song. So, well, thank you for appreciating it and seeing it.
I'd never thought about all seven chakras being open at once.
Okay.
You said that, I was like, oh, wow.
Okay, because we haven't talked about it. All right, so in Hindu thought, you know that caduceus, the thing you see with the two snakes twining around a winged staff. It's the medical symbol.
Oh, yeah.
Seen it all your life,
Yes.
Matthew. It's called the caduceus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what that is a model of your energy. So you have a central shaft, which is the Sushumna, which is your central nervous system. Okay. And then the two side ones are the
Ida and Pingala.
Ida and Pingala, which are intertwining in those intersections are the chakras. And those are the parts of the nervous system that we're dealing with voluntarily, the things that we can control. So yes, they are strung out like beads. They are interconnected. So there's not only the flow of them spinning, there's the flow in between them. And that's why it's so important. I guess that's probably where we ought to go next is to look more at that connection. So the winged staff is the 1,000-petaled lotus. And again, the serpent energy, these are two snakes. That's the Kundalini. The Kundalini is the energy that's held at the base of the spine that gets released. And it's very hot energy. And you'll have those spontaneous moments of intense absorption in the universe, which can totally overwhelm you. And people go crazy. It's like what happens when people take too much ecstasy or too much acid and they get opened up too quick. All those energies get released and you haven't prepared this base to absorb the energies and to give them a frame of network so they become terrifying. So yes, very much this grounding, getting rooted. When we used to do acid back in the 60s, you always did it with a guide. You had someone in the room with you, helping you, giving you grounding when you got caught up in anything that started emerging that was scary, okay?
Yes.
We just stupidly go off on these spiritual journeys and spiritual quests. The people who run a lot of retreat centers, I think of as spiritual Nazis. They get you in there, they awaken. It's very easy to awaken this energy. But if you don't have a fabric for a grounding for understanding the energies they're releasing, and some of you have done workshops, gone to spiritual retreats that ask you to sign a waiver that you're in therapy before you go. Have any of you ever had to sign a waiver like that? This is why. Because they want to make sure that there's a place where you can go and process these energies, ground them. Okay.
Well, it's interesting too, of course, relating to Year of the Snake, and you referred to two of the qualities, the energies of the snake, which are the grounding energy and the
Transformation, yeah.
You know, shedding the skin, the snake.
Yeah.
So the change and transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I had a question.
sure.
Go Bentley.
Did you hold the page from the excerpt you read to us? Like, do you have that in front of you?
This
A little bit.
okay, this is from an article. See if you can find it because it's several pages long.
Are you in?
I just wanted to know if you could reread the sentence where you mentioned, like the first time you mentioned unlived life.
Right. Okay. I could see why you might be interested in that line. Okay.
Can you read the whole thing? Do we have time? Is it too super long to read the whole thing? I loved that as well.
Okay. How does the group feel about me rereading it now that we've been through this? It might make more sense.
And tell me the title first.
Show of hands. Okay.
Okay, get to her line.
Okay. The title is no title. Oh, wait. It's by Reggie Ray, who's from the Dharma Ocean Foundation.
dharmaocean.org.
And it's just a thing from, it may be from, I don't see a book. He's a professor of Buddhist studies at the Naropa Institute, which is where Channy studied. Oh, Truth and the Secret Advisor World. That's not going to be helpful. But it was just an article he wrote about body awareness and realizing the importance of experiencing meditation in the body. So I'll go back. So what happens to all that denied and rejected experience that we were already holding in our bodies? Simply put, all that somatic awareness and experience is being walled off from our consciousness. It abides in a no man land in our tissues, our muscles, our ligaments and tendons, our blood and our bones. The literally organic journey of our somatic, and for those of you who don't know that term, that means our bodily experience. The organic journey our somatic experience is making towards consciousness is aborted by this process. And all that energy gets jammed back into itself, and there it stays in a kind of unhealthy stagnation, where in some instances it may be unblocked by a body worker years later or even decades later as a release of a traumatic memory. But as with our traumas, so with virtually every moment of our lives, the full range of our experience is not admitted, but is pushed back and walled off where it abides hidden in our bodies. This rejection of the fullness of our experience is what Buddhism means by the creation of karma. And listen, all you Christians who think that karma means as ye sow, so shall ye reap. That this is not payback. This is not God's punishment. This is simply how life works, okay? So when the law says every action you take, every thought you think, every feeling you feel is imprinted in your body. There's no escaping that. You may dissociate from it, but it's still being stored there, okay? So that's what this means. And this previously created karma results in limitations in our present awareness. In other words, the experience that is pushed back and walled off into the body is not in the least inactive. It continues to function as that which our conscious standpoint, in order to maintain itself, must continuously strive to ignore. That's what I'm saying. Feel that push to release and be fighting it. You're keeping yourself bound. Your resistance to what's emerging in your life keeps you bound. And nobody else is doing that. Ain't your mama? Ain't your husband? Ain't
Not
your
the other
wife?
person.
Not the other person? Not God? Nobody ain't doing shit to you. You unconsciously doing this to yourself. Okay? Silly goose. Why do I do that? I don't know why I do that. And that's the joke. Someday you're going to wake up. Nobody's doing this to me. I'm doing it to me. I want to go outside and play. Doors open. I don't go outside and play. Has it ever occurred to you that part of your depression is because you keep denying your joy? Some of this energy you're repressing is joy. Did you have a parent who was a joy stealer? I did. Every time I felt joy, got smacked back down, okay? Go find something to do. Don't bring that shit in here, church. Don't be making noise in church. Don't laugh, don't giggle, don't talk, don't sit there rigid with your face in a grimace. Yeah, well, spirituality. Even our teachers here, they all talk with that soft, sing-songy voice. I call bullshit, people. I call bullshit. That's not it. We're being led into the pens. It's much like moving around a party trying to avoid a particular person. All your new moves, which you think are seemingly free and consistent with the wants of your party objectives of your ego, are actually largely being defined by trying to prevent any encounter with an unwanted event? How much of your life going, oh, what if this happened? What if I run into this person? What if someone sees me like this? I can't go to the grocery store in curlers. No, can't do that. What if somebody I know sees me? That's your bondage. We could speak of the rejected experience, the somatic knowledge that we wall off as our unlived life. Is that part of our human experience, and awfully a very large part that we don't feel, engage, accommodate, or incorporate? It's something that has come to our body for whatever reasons, but that we've allowed to go no further. And many of us feel that life is passing us by, that we are missing what our life could be. I'll send you that, Bentley.
It's not too late.
It's not too late. Most of us don't come to this till our 60s. Can I get an amen on that? Okay. Okay. We don't know why we feel that way or what to do about it. But when viewed from the point of the body, this unlived life is precisely the life that's already ours, but that we're avoiding out of our desire to maintain the ego status quo. Of course we long for this life. That's the life, that's the healing energy. That's your body saying, let this go. There's a bigger life out there. And this is why Jesus says, if you only had eyes to see, you'd realize the kingdom's here. Go live in the kingdom. But you don't live in the kingdom because you keep living in the structures of your ego, of your mind, these conditioned emotions. And it can be excruciating. Meditating with the body provides a way for us to reconnect with these unlived lives gradually over time, and how to live in a more complete and satisfying way. That's the promise. That's the hope. So it's like, we'll read next time. Let's get out that thing, what we offer you.
Yes.
Okay, that what meditation is not what most people think. It means that while you're washing dishes, you're enjoying the sensual experience of washing the dishes. And you're so fulfilled by that. It's not just, oh, you should learn to wash the dish and just wash it. No, it's that I'm so fulfilled, so connected, so having such a rich sensual experience that I don't want anything else right now. And when I taste a turnip, I taste the turnip, I taste the dirt in it, and I taste the moisture, and I taste the sunlight in it. So this is what we're saying, is taking the lens off. This is what Aldous Huxley talked about, cleansing the lens of perception, letting the light back in. So light's inside trying to connect with the light outside, so it can just flow through that tube.
Clean the mirror, polish the mirror.
Julie. Then we'll go.
I wasn't necessarily trying to talk, but thank you so much for today. I really like the reading, the poem at the beginning, what the Emerald Dagger, is that what that is?
Dagger by Hafiz. If you don't
Dagger
know,
by-
I think he's even better than Rumi. So
Yeah, that really moved me. That was what I was wanting you to read again, was that if you would, maybe Linnell could write that name down or something. Thank you. Appreciate everyone.
book called The Gift by Daniel Ladinsky. Daniel Ladinsky is like Coleman Barks.
Translator.
As a translator, and he does a contemporary translation, but very much in the irreverent, raucous humor that the Sufi masters like Rumi have, and Kabir, and Shams of Tabriz.
If I can get something in real quickly, it's said that the Buddha says the problem is we think we have enough time.
Absolutely. Do not squander your life. So,
There it is.
B, I haven't forgotten you. Now we ohm, but we do 3 rounds of ohm, and we add on the COVID raspberry. And this developed during COVID to kind of like, what can you say about COVID? but it really has a deep spiritual thing. There's a Buddhist sutra that says, what did we learn? Nothing.
Nothing.
How much spiritual merit have we gained? None. I'm
Zip.
the same fool who sat down on the cushion, okay? But hopefully freer to be more foolish.
To sing, to dance.
So
to
this is a
wiggle.
way of letting go, to wiggle, to wobble, to let all the energies out that you're constrained to the very end, anything else that needs to get left. So Omi, let's go.
Okay, so let's sing. Unmute your devices. That's it.
Have a good week, everyone.
Go along
You
with your bad
too.
self.
Good,
Bye.
Good
see you next
time.
weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.
If
Bye,
not,
everyone.
Thank you.
thanks everybody. Have a good one.
Matthew,
Bye.
Andy, are you going to be there tonight?
Yes.
Okay, good. See you then.
Bye, Julie. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.